Morning all, how we doing? All good, happy Wednesday. First of the big news days today. Just to kick off with news, we've got Spanish unemployment this morning at 8 o'clock. It's non-farm employment change at 1:15 ahead of the New York Open. We got PMI, and then it's obviously FOMC this evening at 7. So that's the big one, FOMC this evening. So today, one of two things will tend to happen ahead of an FOMC release. We either get huge manipulation up to lots of ADR hits on many pairs, but normally on US dollar pairs. Hunting for liquidity ahead of FOMC where they tend to reverse, or we get horrible sideways action where they're just putting a holding pattern waiting for FOMC to happen. So we quite often see sort of moves out of the Asian highs back down, then New York brings it back up again, and we have that sort of day. So we'll see what happens, but you can't really tell, obviously, until the day unfolds. But that's the big one this evening. So expected release is 1% on a forecast of 0.5, on a previous of 0.5. So a forecast of 1 on a previous of 0.5. We had an increase on the Aussie dollar rate. So there is a possibility. It's very unlikely, though. The Fed doesn't tend to increase rates. So increase on forecasts, rather. So I think we should be safe with the forecast. It's all factored into the market. But when it actually comes out, you'll find a lot of liquidity is dumped. And the market will start to fly in whatever direction it deems fit. So be aware of that, obviously, this evening. And obviously today may be a bit of a choppy one. I've just added a new position onto EuroCAD. I've got EuroCAD short at the moment from Friday. I've just added another one short. We're just broken down below these lows. So we're heading down into this propulsion gap at the minute. So I've just added an additional position onto that one. The other thing I've got on at the moment is the Aussie US. I'm trying to think what's the other position I've got. Aussie US, I've got long. I stopped out on one of these yesterday. So had that one there stopped out yesterday. I had two positions on. Had that one and this one. That one got taken out. The second one didn't. So I'm still in that one. I've added a second position on back down here. Basically, as we are looking like we're not taking out these lows, and I'm expecting some US dollar weakness ahead of FOMC. So I'm still expecting that, and I'm hoping that's going to be today. If they do the liquidity reach, obviously we'll be looking for highs and lows to be breached. Excuse me. As you can see, it's all well within ADR. So there's a lot of possibility of them doing runs for lots of different levels, either within or ADR or ahead of ADR, outside of ADR. So looking for yesterday's high sweep basically to take this position off, and then I've got the second one up towards ADR, but I'm going to be out of it for FOMC. So I've still got that one on long. I've just taken a DAX short at the open. I like the look of the DAX short today. If you look at where we are, I mean, there's two things in play at the moment. Two possibilities as far as I can see. Obviously up and down, which is pretty obvious. But yesterday we had another fairly small body, small candle put in. We had this massive drop last week, which we've pulled back into. So one of two things I can see happening at the moment. Either we're going to reach up for these highs, which is what I was looking for them to try and do yesterday, and we didn't really get any movement. We just got that yesterday. It was a horrible choppy day yesterday. I managed to make money out of it, but not very easily. I was trading M15 yesterday. I'll come on to that in a bit. So either we're going to reach up to there, or I think basically we are just going to continue the next leg down. So I'm going for a short at the open, because basically yesterday we gapped up, we pushed down, pushed up, and came back and finished bearish. So the market finished bearish yesterday. So I'm looking for them basically just to continue the move from yesterday, really. We had this little push up at the end. But we will see what happens at the open. We've got 3 minutes to the open. But overall, obviously, still bearish DAX, but watching these areas. So if this one stops out this morning, that I've got on this initial position, i.e. we come up and take out these highs, I'm going to wait until we get up into this propulsion gap on the daily, and wait till we challenge these highs, and I'm going to look to scale in at these highs and then drop from there. So that's the plan. Morning Mayo, morning Jacob, Stevie, Burke, Ladder. So that's the plan on the DAX. The other indices, we'll quickly cover those. Similar sort of thing. We're sitting within these sort of big daily candles at the moment. We've got this massive daily candle here, which we haven't broken out of in the last 5-6 days. We've got this candle now, which is an inside bar of this one. And now we're sitting within this one. So we're contracting. Obviously, this is what the market tends to do ahead of FOMC. We're waiting for FOMC, and then the market will just fly later. So it's all kind of a little bit of a holding pattern at the moment. Same picture with the S&P, and same picture with the Dow. The Dow's a little bit more bearish. We've had a new attempt at these lows, didn't quite get to the lows. So we have broken out to the downside on that. But again, as you can see yesterday, pretty mediocre body candle, didn't really go anywhere. So a bit of a rubbish day yesterday. Morning Vinod, morning Andy. Having to dip in and out of the live streams at the moment as lots going on. Good. There is life outside of trading. Not that we like to admit it. So we'll watch the open. It's 1 minute to the open, and we'll see where we go. So yesterday, basically, I traded M15, which I actually really enjoyed yesterday. It was a lot less stressful trading M15 than trading M5. I put a picture in Telegram of my all my trades yesterday that I took. Don't know if I've got. Not sure if it's going to show up very easily on here. Just about see it, I think. So quite a few positions, as you can see. Loads of shorts there. Just got stopped out on the DAX. Lots of short positions, basically. A few more shorts in there. Bit of a mess, but because this is obviously being shown on M5. Some longs down there, all the way up to there. But basically, if you look at it on M15, it was really simple to trade as a range-bound day yesterday. As we started breaking highs, you kind of put the longs. As we started breaking lows, you took the lows, and it's a lot. You get a lot less signals on obviously an M15. Because you're only looking at it every sort of 15, 20 minutes, it's just much more leisurely, slow day. And I found I put a picture again in the Telegram group. I traded half as many lots yesterday, half as many contracts. Traded 28 lots yesterday, made $450. On the Friday before, I traded 52 lots to make $800. So, lots is there. Number of trades, start again. Number of trades, 28. So half as many trades, obviously, because I'm trading a higher time frame. Look at the lot count. I made $450 off of 54 lots, whereas trading M5, I took 225 lots to make $835. Forget the day before because that was bank holiday. But so yeah, it makes a big impact on your number of trades, obviously. So less stressful, less opportunities to trade, but still very, very profitable because I held the trades for longer. So overall, pretty good. I didn't get stopped out on the DAX. Ooh, I thought I got stopped out then. Just missed me. Came up and retested these highs. Just going to put a self stop for an additional position on that down there. So yeah, it's quite interesting trading M15. Quite enjoyed it. We'll just see what happens with this initial open, and then we'll have a look at all the FX pairs. There's not a lot of activity today. We had a little opening flurry there, but it's all gone a bit quiet. I'm just going to draw those levels in a little bit better. Let's get rid of all these ones on here. So levels I'm looking at are that high. Whoa, bulls come in. Now I'm stopped out. So I'm looking at that high there, that high there, and that high there. So these are the three sort of most recent daily highs, basically, that I'm looking for them to come and target. And it looks like they are going long today. You can see the crickets are going crazy. So those levels up there is where I'm looking to get up to on the hourly. So if we're breaking out to the upside, obviously I'll just cancel that pending off. So if we're going to break out to the upside, that's where I'm looking for us to get. And then I'll start looking for short opportunities in that zone there. So we've got about 60-point zone at the highs. Let's see if we can get up there. We've got a couple of big propulsion gaps on M5 we're coming into as well. Where we may see, so we've had resistance there twice now, which we've just rejected out of again, and we've got this area here which we rejected out of also. So we have got some sellers to crash through if we're going to go up to those levels. Now we didn't quite get into that level there, but that's right. So there's your opening range in. So going with the buy stop above the high. Let's see if we're going to get some movement today. The danger today obviously is that we are just going to have one of those hideous range bound, a bit like yesterday at the end of yesterday's session. I mean the whole session yesterday was pretty dire, but obviously ahead of FOMC we may well get this today on the DAX. News-wise, obviously, we've got the Spanish unemployment change for the euro, which has just come out. I don't think it was slightly bullish, so that may be why we got that little bit of a spike there on the DAX, but don't know. Morning, Harry. Where is gold headed? Up or down? I'll have a look at gold in a sec. I'm just waiting to see what happens at this opening range. Just pop those levels on the M5 as well. So we got 14128.7. And 14160.5 and 14188.8. So those are the those daily levels I'm looking at. So they fall quite nicely in with that propulsion gap there. So that's where I think we're probably heading if we're going up. We're not going anywhere at the minute. So you see there's nothing coming through at the minute. It's just market's flat. That opening flurry. Same across all indices. All indices are dead this morning. Nada. Nothing moving. Gold. Right, so gold is a bit of a confusion at the minute. Obviously you got levels down here, which potentially we're going to be heading for. So this is the stronger level of the lot. Nice buying just coming through on the DAX. All indices actually. Little bit of movement. So that's the strongest level of gold. We got this propulsion move here, where we broke out of that high. We came back up into this resistance. We accumulated there for a little bit and then pushed off. So this whole zone here, as you can see, this area down towards 100 ADR, is roughly where I would suspect we're going to get some kind of reaction to the upside, but I don't know whether it's going up or down at the moment. It's going to be really dependent at the moment on the US dollar. Gold doesn't seem to have any real independence at the minute. We find obviously sometimes a lot that gold will move on its own. Other times it's driven by the US dollar. At the moment it's one of those times where it's being massively driven by the US dollar. US dollar at the moment is just waiting for FOMC. So whatever happens with FOMC today, we're going to see the inverse on gold. I'm looking for longs on US dollar. So at the moment I've got a short on US dollar Swiss on my funded account, just for today. I'm just looking for that to ride down. And then obviously move back the opposite direction on FOMC. So if we're going to get a strong US dollar on FOMC, I would expect gold to drop. So I don't honestly know where gold is going. It's a real confusion at the minute. It's not going anywhere is the immediate answer, really. As you can see, we've been stuck since the war. We've been stuck sideways. We've just broken out down to these lows, so and we're tapping into these this support resistance here at the moment. So I suspect what we'll probably do is something like that. It's the same with everything at the minute. Low time frames is where you want to be. Long-term forecasting anything is very, very difficult because we're getting interest rates. Obviously, inflation, interest rates and everything is hitting everybody in the world. Energy price increases are hitting everybody. We've got the war in Ukraine going on, which is draining the funds of other countries who are supporting. We've got Putin threatening other countries at the minute. So, you know, at the moment, the market really hasn't got a clear long-term bias on any instrument or any FX pair. So trading smaller time frames is the best thing to do. So where it's going, I would say at the moment, is probably somewhere up here at some point, from somewhere down here. How you get to those, who knows? Trade price action on low time frames and have a target of one of them. It's going to be attracted to those levels, but how and when, don't know. At the moment, I'd be a little bit more bullish on it, just because market structure's just shifted back to the highs. So right now is a lovely little long opportunity to take out yesterday's high. How long you hold it for, up to you. But very hard at the minute. Gold. I don't trade it, as said. I look at it every day because people ask about it, but I don't trade the thing. Every time I trade it, it kicks me in the bum. So I don't do it. And every time I do it, I get reminded why I don't do it. As you saw, I think I took a gold trade, didn't I? Just after the war, and yeah, I didn't end well. Just watching the DAX, we just cracked that high on M5, just. So we've left this big propulsion gap for them to potentially come back and find some buying support in. Obviously, there's no gap fill today, so looking basically to see if we can just pull back into this area and then get a leg up towards those highs. But very little volume coming in, very little liquidity. Got a feeling we might be in for a choppy ride this morning. Right, so let's have a quick look at the FX pairs. ADRs, we've got nothing. Aussie New Zealand obviously hit the weekly yesterday based off of the back of the Australian rate rise. So we had that big ADR move on this one yesterday. So we are sitting already up at the weekly range highs. All the Aussies have, let's just drop down to the hourly so it's a bit easier to see. So all the Aussies, obviously, we had that big move, pulled back very nicely, sat in the propulsion gap, rejected, and are starting to push off. So we've got some indications of continuing strength on the Aussie, but very difficult to tell at the moment because all we've done really is push up, retrace 50% of it, and gone sideways. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat this morning. Aussie New Zealand is just pushing up into the highs at the minute. I've got loads of selling starting to come in now on the DAX. FTSE's just fallen out of bed completely. So's the Dow. Okay, 7 seconds left on this candle. It's going to take one more long down here. So looking for this area to be supportive. Find some buyers. We may well just do this, so I'm not going to get too aggressive this morning. I'm just going to take a couple of positions and try this long again. If this long doesn't work out, I'm going to get out. US dollar Swiss just stopped out on as well. Blimey, the market's all over the gaff this morning. More selling coming through. Going to get stopped out in the first position. Let's move it a buy stop just above these highs. Right, sorry. So yeah, going back to the Aussie New Zealand. Just going to let that run, basically. That's the only trade I want to take today, attacking these highs. If we're going to go like that, I'm not interested. So I'm just going to leave those two positions on and see if that runs. So yeah, Aussie New Zealand is going to be the strongest out of all the Australasian pairs, of all the Aussie pairs, basically. Moving forward, if the Aussie is going to be strong. So if we get a break of these highs and a hold above these highs today, I think we're probably going to be in for a bit of a run on the Aussie. We are extended, though, obviously, to the upside on the Aussie New Zealand on a weekly range basis. So if you look at where this is potentially going to be heading, we've got clear sky. So you can see I've got this alert set at the moment for a pullback into these this area here. Basically, I'm just looking for some kind of pullback to potentially take another long position. We didn't get enough of a pullback yesterday to get that alert triggered off, so I not getting into it in a minute. But where we're going is miles away on the daily. Any of these highs basically is the next potential stop, and as you can see, it's like at least an ADR away. So there's plenty of room to the upside for the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar to run still. So looking at these weeklies, I'd be a little inclined to leave that for the minute, because it's got lots and lots of upside if it breaks these highs. Obviously, the other option is we are just going to come in, we're going to do a little liquidity run of yesterday's high, and then we're going to drop back down and come and retest this area here. So it's a nice looking short once we've swept these highs. So if we sweep these highs and we get a reversal alert on M5 short after we swept the highs, then that's where I'd be looking for potentially taking a little short position with a very tight stop on it. It's either going to work, it's either going to be a double top liquidity run, or it's not. Yeah. So if we take these highs out, then we get the reversal alert. That's where I'd be looking to take a short. So might stick a little alert up there as well, just to see what happens when we get up to those highs up there. So that's your weeklies. That's all we've got at the moment. Nothing's hit monthlies at present. I don't think it's hit monthly. Yeah, it hasn't hit monthly yet. US dollars, Swiss. Hourlies, we've got nothing extended on the hourly RSIs. Completely dead at the moment on the hourlies. Oops, just hit the wrong button. So nothing to report there at all. The only thing we've got kind of getting close at the moment is the CAD Swiss, which has just started to come off the highs anyway, so that's no use. And Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is obviously extended on the hourly, pretty much as you'd expect, double top. So yeah, that's all we've got. Nothing else to look at on the hourlies at all at the minute. 4 hourlies is pretty much the same. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar extended on the 4 hourly. We're putting in that potential M. So this is obviously a double top potential, and then looking to come back down into this area here. Very, very, very strong support. That one, we've been resistive there multiple times. We finally slammed through it, and it took the news event to get us slammed through it. So if and when we come back and retest this area, that's where you're going to be looking for longs. So just going to move that alert down a little bit. So I want to know when we're approaching this level for long opportunities. New Zealand dollar CAD. That one's the other one that's extended on the 4 hour. We're not getting in the way of this one. New Zealand dollar's still massively weak. Canadian dollar's still got that strength. We've got OPEC meetings this week as well on tomorrow. That's Thursday morning. So looking for potentially continued strength on the Canadian dollar. So don't really want to get in the way of this one. It's very, very hard to get in this. Not really giving you any opportunities to get in short at all. Massively embedded. It's definitely going to be bouncing at some point soon and getting a retracement in, but very, very hard to pick a level on this one. You've got to go back a long way to find any kind of support. This area that I drew in was a few levels from the daily in the past. It slammed straight through that. So you can kind of pick a level down here. There's just nowhere really for it to find any support, apart from obviously the kind of not all-time low, but the most recent low that we've had, which is back all the way down here. So I don't really want to get in the way of it. It's likely it's going to need to pull back at some point soon. Obviously on the daily we are massively extended. When we get extended on the daily, we get those pullbacks that tend to start, obviously. It's very, 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 very due. When it's going to happen is the difficulty. Obviously it's always the same. Timing is the hard thing. So looking for reverse alerts, basically. Pick a time frame, and if you want to jump in, I wouldn't get any lower than hourly on this one, but just because of the strength of the move. And it's going to pull back, but pullbacks very difficult to spot on this one where it's going to come back to. Somewhere around that accumulation there, I suspect, which is 225 ADR. So a couple of ADR move back in the other way, and then potentially you might want to jump out again because it could just do a little pullback and then start its next leg down. But look at the 4 hour. We got 1, 2, 3. Well, that's a little bit green, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and about 12 4 hour candles solid down. So crazy. So that's New Zealand dollar CAD extended on the 4 hour and obviously extended to on the daily. US dollar Swiss. I just tried a little short on this one this morning. I've been trying to get in short on this thing for what seems like weeks. It's not, but this thing is like an absolute steam train, the US dollar at the minute. On the daily, it's extended above the 85 level now, so it's just utterly shot. It's very rare that we get up to those sorts of highs. As you can see, we've got to go, well, February last year, pretty much we got up there. We had a little bit of a pullback, and then we put in some divergence, and then we obviously got the drop from there. A bit of selling pressure coming through on the indices at the moment. That high up there, obviously, then we collapse from there. So it's very rare that we get up to these sorts of levels. You're always due a drop when you get up here, obviously, as you can see. How far it's going to be, that drop, difficult to tell, but we are really due it. I've been trying to get into this thing, and since, as you can see, since last week, since we got extended on the daily, I've been trying to short this thing, and it's just not stopping. So I've been stopped out a few times on shorts on it, and it's like a steam train. I'm hoping FOMC is going to give it some kind of respite, but I'm expecting FOMC to power up the US dollar. But looking at the way the US dollar is going at the moment, it's not getting any pullbacks. I was looking for pullbacks ahead of FOMC, and now I'm kind of looking for FOMC to pull it back, but I don't think that's going to happen. So it's very difficult to call this one. We had a lovely big bearish candle going in yesterday, massive bullish engulfing under the entire thing, and now we've just gone back into an accumulation again. So this is utterly ripe for a short. As I say, I just shorted it this morning from 97.9. You can't see it on there. So I shorted it this morning here. We retested and dropped. I added here. Break even, just got taken out of break even basically. So again, just not going anywhere. Just can't get in this thing. Really can't get in it. But I really like it short. Just because of the fact that it's moved so high, so fast, so hard. But I just can't get in it. So if you want to take a speculative short on it, I would put pending sells underneath the lows. And just wait for it to gather you in. One of these, when it does gather you in, is going to hold and go. It's just you want to be in on it when it goes, and there's a good possibility it's going to go like that. We're going to get that elevator shaft. Price climbs up the stairs and drops down the elevator shaft. You're only going to get in it with pending orders. By the time you get a reversal alert on it, there's a possibility it's FOMC that's caused it, and it's down here, and you've missed the move. So yeah, US dollar Swiss, still looking for short opportunities on that. Might leave that one in place actually. Just looking to see if there's any levels historically that we're coming to. Yeah, there's so many levels on this, so many levels that you could draw in as decent support resistance zones all around here. We've rejected that again there. ADR today, if we can get an ADR push today, there's another potential area of accumulation and balance that will acts potentially as resistance, but I think obviously the move is going to come off of FOMC. So, and obviously FOMC, you've got to be obviously aware, FOMC, sometimes we sit there and FOMC does absolutely nothing. So we'll have to wait and see this evening. But yeah, looking for short opportunities on that. So US dollar Swiss, I'm going to start getting in on some shorts on that. So M15 reversal alert. I don't like these long ones either. It's just an accumulation basically. But when we break down below these lows, I shall gather up into a short opportunity and then try and scale in as we go down. That's all we got on the 4-hour extensions. I went through every other pair yesterday, and we haven't really gone anywhere since yesterday. A lot of the stuff we looked at yesterday is all the same. As you can see, we had quite a bit of movement yesterday, but no real direction. So all of yesterday's moves were fairly flat. Anything that jumped up into ADR is kind of reversed itself. You can see we've got 2 days flat on the yens. Euro, we had that little drop and then we've pushed back again. So that's just come basically down, taking out that propulsion gap. So yeah, sideways pretty much. Euro CAD, obviously I say I've got that one short. Euro pound, again pulled down, pushed back up again. Now we're basically back to where we opened. Say ahead of FOMC, the first 3 days ahead of FOMC, we do tend to get accumulation the majority of the time, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. So we're waiting until this evening. So don't expect any explosions today. Not expecting any massive movement ahead of that. We're waiting until this evening. Lovely sideways action. Look at this. Just can't trade it in a minute. A lot of this stuff. So that's where the pound US dollar, I was hoping we were going to get a pullback up into there. I was hoping we were going to get a weak US dollar so I could get this pound US dollar short on. Just been delivered a sideways move. NC can't get into. Sideways, sideways, sideways. Nothing moving. It's just utter rubbish at the minute. So yeah, DAX not gone anywhere. Got stopped out those positions. So that's 1.5 down this morning. Not a great start to the morning, and we're not really going anywhere. So I would trade this morning as a range. Probably better on M5 this morning rather than M15. In fact, I'm going to switch down to M5 on my other platform. Zoom out a bit on that. So I would be looking basically down at these lows, and obviously we've got a new high put in now. So somewhere around those highs. Let's just draw them in. So somewhere around there. And obviously up at the highs up there. We've got that level up there as well to take a look at. That's basically where we've tapped into this morning. These highs. So in fact, I'll probably take that off and use what we've got today. So looking for longs somewhere down here, back up into there. Looking for shorts up there, somewhere back down into there. And assume all we're going to get in London and potentially in New York on the DAX, likely in New York on the DAX, is just sideways movement until FOMC. So if you want to position trade this today, which is what I'm doing on my funded account, I'm just scaling in a few positions. I will stop out down here if we get too deep, scale in and then scale out at the top and then scale in short. And just use price action to do that. That's really all you can do today. Not going to get much else movement wise. You probably find this, the crickets just like start ticking long down here and start ticking red up there. So up, down, up, down. Just taking out the Globex lows. So there's a new low on the S&P and the Dow, all the same. Very little, but we'll see. So yeah, just pushing down into these lows now. So what I might do is just stick. Yeah, I can stick with 400. So I'm going to wait for price action down here on M5. So wait for some wicks to show down at the lows or a bullish engulfing, and then I shall take a long and target up at the highs. Kind of the thing to do is just kind of 1-to-1 it today, maybe a little bit more. Just try and scalp little bits and pieces out of the market. Anybody got any other pairs they want to look at specifically today? Haven't really got a lot else for you today because obviously nothing's changed since yesterday much. $115, obviously news-wise. Be aware of that as well. 115, we're going to get some decent movement on non-farm employment change. And then obviously the market open for PMI. Von der Leyen has been talking this morning. Complete import ban on Russian oil, seaborne and pipeline, crude and refined. More Russian sanctions today. Interesting. What more sanctions can they do on Russia, really? Phase out the Russian supply of crude oil within the next 6 months and refined products by the end of the year. Yeah, we know all about that. 95 basis points by the end of 22. Hungary, Slovakia could continue to buy Russian crude until the end of 2023. Okay. Nothing particularly interesting coming out on that news. It's just all about crude again. So we're just pushing down to the lows. Pound US dollar. So pound US dollar basically, same sort of thing. We're waiting for FOMC on this one. As you can see, we've just entered into an accumulation. Oops, we're buying off of the lows at the moment. So really, if you can get up to ADR today, that's really all I would expect us to do. It's impossible to say what anything's going to be doing tomorrow until we get the results of FOMC this evening. So the outlook on the US dollar can completely change tonight. So at the moment, what I'm looking for is pound to manage to get up into this area here to short it. So a continued US dollar strength, but initial US dollar weakness. Is what I've been looking for this week. We didn't get it. You can see I started longing it down here. Looking for that bounce on the pound US dollar. This is a really strong daily level we're in at the moment on the pound US dollar as well. But we didn't get that move up to there, unfortunately. So nothing's going to move today. So I mean, whatever you look at now and go, right, this is what I'm looking for, 7 p.m. this evening, that outlook completely be different. because it's all down to what FOMC, what happens in FOMC with the fund rate and what happens in the press conference. So it's pretty pointless doing any analysis today. Today, as I say, look for range-bound opportunities. Look for anything that's getting near its recent lows. Yeah, so long in this from here, back up to there, and just look for, actually the best thing to do today is to watch. I don't think you'll even get an extension. Yeah, probably 5 minute. Watch 5 minute RSI extensions today, and then reversal alerts, or even 1 minute. Yeah, look for price to get down to lows or highs. Wait for RSI to get extended, so we know we've had a decent push down to that level, and then just ping it back, because you're very likely going to find everything range bound. One of those days we have to sit through this rubbish while we're waiting for them to sort their lives out, basically, and decide what they're going to do with their currencies. So for the rest of the week, news-wise, tomorrow morning we've got OPEC kicking off, and then we've got midday, it's the Bank of England rates. Again, forecast 0.25 increase. Again, don't tend to get... We do change our rates a little bit more than the US dollar. So as you can see, the vast majority of the time it's as forecast. You get the odd one that comes out not as forecast, but the vast majority of our news on the rates is as expected anyway. So we've had 0.5% for a long time, haven't we? So obviously we're expecting a forecast increase tomorrow. That's all been factored into the market. So there's your big mover tomorrow. So whatever movement we get off of FOMC, what the hell? Every movement we get off of FOMC today, if you're trading the pound US dollar, you want to be looking to the inverse of it potentially tomorrow. Again, no idea which way it's going to take it, because obviously it's going to depend on what happens there, and it's going to depend on lots of other things. Got the bank votes and everything as well yesterday. So, and then towards the end of the week, tomorrow on Friday, we've got non-farm payroll, which typically won't move the market fundamentally, but obviously we do get those lovely big whipsaw spikes. So good trading opportunities for low time frames. And I'll be looking for non-farm to do a continuation of whatever FOMC does. So if FOMC powers up the US dollar, I would expect a little bit of a pullback, and then non-farm to continue that move to the upside. So very, very key today, what goes on this evening. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because there's not a lot else happening, as you can see. DAX has dropped quite nicely down to those lows. So I'm going to look to take a long down here. Got a one on there, one on a break of that high, looking to get out somewhere up at the highs up there. That's really all I want to do today. Looks like we're sideways bound. I was hoping they were going to take it away this morning, but they haven't. So it's going to be a boring session. Okay, so I will be back on tomorrow morning, 7:50. We'll have a look at all the FX pairs again tomorrow morning in a bit more detail, and analyse what's happened with FOMC. I'm not looking to get into any US dollar positions at the moment until I know what the outcome of FOMC is, and then I'll probably start taking some positions tomorrow. But for the moment, I'm just going to continue with the Euro CAD and the Aussie US. So the Euro CAD shorts that I've got on, and the Aussie US. So the Aussie US is the only US dollar I've got on at the moment, and I am long on that. So if we don't get much movement on that, I may well close this ahead of FOMC. I'll see where it is basically later, but if I've got profit on it and we're sort of sitting somewhere up there, I shall probably close it out, because you're going to get some decent movement in FOMC. Burke, no more afternoon streams. No, I'm not doing afternoons anymore. Just going to do mornings now. I'm concentrating on trading, basically. And it's tiring me out doing 2 live rooms a day. If you think about it, I'm sitting in front of a microphone for 4 hours a day, saying the same stuff over and over again. It's the same analysis every day. So I'm still trading the New York Open, but I'm just not going to live stream it. There's not, the analysis FX pairs wise changes very little from morning to afternoon. And today's a prime example. This morning's analysis is exactly the same as yesterday's analysis. There's no point in doing it again. Just go and look at yesterday's replay. Same stuff. Nothing's moved. So there's no point in running 2 sessions. It was only to really trade the US Open while the FX pairs were all screwed up. So I've run 1 live room a day for the last 18 months, for the last 2 years. It's only in the last since January I started doing 2 a day. But it's tiring me out. Getting knackered doing 2 a day. It's hard work. And I want to focus on trading. I want to focus on getting this funded account growing, if I can. And I find it very difficult to do that and concentrate on running 2 accounts and live streaming and trying to take trades on multiple accounts at the same time. So it's just difficult. But the analysis will still be there in the mornings. As I say, there's only 6 candles a day on the 4-hour chart. So you may have had 1 reversal alert from the morning session to the morning session, and something, if it's hit RSI, if it hits it this afternoon, it's still going to have hit it tomorrow morning. So you don't need me. You've been in here long enough to see that that's what I look at. But I did give the option of afternoon streams last week when I was talking about it. I said, do you want to do mornings or afternoons? And everybody plumped for mornings. So we got mornings. Can you keep us updated on the funded account, maybe in Telegram? Yeah, well, I'll keep you updated on it in here. I'm still running it. I'm still long on the DAX at the moment. Did just over 4 grand last week. 1,100 up this week. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm 800 up this week because I'm in $300 a drawdown at the moment. 260, 240. Keep going. Keep ticking. Every time this ticks, I get less drawdown. 235. I'll give you a running commentary on it. Still going. I'm just trying. This is partly why I want to drop down to 1 live room. I'm over trading, and it's going well, and I don't want to over trade. So, and as Diamond has just said, it's hard enough trying to stay focused while trading. When you're trying to live stream and commentate as well, which is why I seem a bit like spaced out sometimes, because I'm watching 3 monitors and I'm watching 6 instruments at once, which is why I keep getting distracted. When I'm not streaming, I look at the charts a lot less, and yesterday was a prime example. I held my positions yesterday a lot longer than I would in the live room, because part of me saying I want to get out of this to show the guys I'm putting a profit in the bank, whereas what my heart is actually saying is I really think that's going to go there. I should hold it. It changes the way you trade when you're doing it in front of other people. And it's yesterday was a prime example of that. I took half as many positions yesterday and made pretty much the same profit. So it does change your psyche when you're doing it live, which is why I kind of like, obviously, the position trading side of things is much, much easier. Because obviously we're getting into positions and we're holding positions for days on end. So we're coming off the lows on the DAX. So targeting up at those highs. In fact, I'm going to move those TPs within opening range high. Not getting greedy. Somewhere up at the highs is all I'm going to look to target. on them. Yeah, but Forex pairs are just. It depends how you're trading them, but I'm finding I'm taking the odd trade on like the US dollar Swiss. I took that US dollar Swiss trade on the funded account this morning. Not this morning, yesterday. Or was it this morning? Yeah, no, sorry, it was this morning. I'm taking a few trades on the funded account on FX pairs, and I'm finding focusing on the hourly is the best thing at the moment, because what I'm looking for is hourly levels and M5 entries, and they seem to be working fairly well. So right now we're approaching this high on the US dollar Swiss. If we take out this high on the US dollar Swiss and then we get a reversal alert on M5, I'm going to jump in short again. So when we put that high in, we'll get the support rectangle there, we'll break that, and then I'll trade it back down into this area down here. That's really all I'm doing at the minute, but I'm not taking masses of positions. I'm literally only monitoring the majors at the moment: pound US, euro US, US Swiss, Aussie US, US yen and US CAD. I'm literally monitoring US dollar only, because it keeps you focused on one instrument, which is US dollar, which is all I'm doing at the minute. So we'll get back to proper position trading. But I'm not so much waiting for the war to be over. I'm waiting for the market to kind of normalise. But I've got this horrible thing in the back of my head that's saying, when is this going to normalise? Because it seems that we're coming out of the pandemic into crisis after crisis, doesn't it? And I can't see any shape of normality returning in the short term, which is why I'm concentrating on low time frames trading at the moment. But position trading on low time frames is very, very difficult to do. So support and resistance is a better trading option at the moment with stops. But I'm still taking multiple positions, as you can see. I'm not using stops. EuroCAD, there's no stops. I'm giving myself a few positions to be either right or wrong. So I'm position trading. It's kind of a hybrid. I'm getting out if it goes too far, but I'm not using stops. I'm not letting them take me out on liquidity runs, because what's the point in that? But equally, I'm not letting myself go into too much drawdown either. Diamond, I miss position trading. I'm just not ready to trust the market again yet. No, me neither. Not at all. That's my buying coming through. Second position long. Just put some TPs in place. So thanks for all that. I've done live streams over the past 4 months. No wonder I'm knackered. Yeah, it's very tiring talking for that long and concentrating on charts. It's hard work. It tires you out. It's the 5 minute stuff. This is why I stopped scalping. I can't do it for long periods of time. It absolutely destroys you. I'm so tired when I go. I'm literally falling asleep on the sofa at 8:30. Because you're concentrating so hard on 5 minute charts all day long. It's very, very difficult to do, which is why I stopped doing it. And this is why I started position trading stress-free. Well, it's got its stresses, but it's a hell of a lot less impactful. So just watching these levels here. to see what sort of reaction we get. So this rejection out of those highs, just watch to see if any, well, that one really, watch to see if any sellers come in. If we don't get a flurry of sellers, we'll probably just push another leg up. So again, euro, obviously we put a lower low in yesterday. Put a lower high in yesterday. We've put a lower low in today. So looking for some kind of lower high at some point, potentially, if we do that. If not, just straight back down into this gap. See how lethargic this thing is today. It's just there's no urgency to get anywhere at the moment. We've got 95 point range on the DAX. Tiny. Got 150 on the opening range yesterday. Compared to the previous day, whereas we had a 5-minute candle that went 237 points. 10 seconds left. German S&P Composite PMIs. Oh, it's the German PMIs. God, they class that as red news. It's interesting. So Spanish PMIs and Italian PMIs positive. French services as expected. German as expected. Quote from the Downton film: "This makes a glacier look impatient." Yeah. I haven't watched Downton. That's on our list of we never watched Downton Abbey. It's on our list of to watches, and now they've released the film, so we can't obviously watch the film. Anybody going to see what's his name at the weekend? You know, that bloke does things with his hands and wears a cape. Marvel. Doctor Strange. Anybody seen that this weekend? Couldn't get in this weekend, but that's going to be a goodie. Just about to get a reversal on M5. Oh, no. Not on this one. On my other platform, we are about to get a reversal alert on M5. Shows you how choppy it is. This is on the verge of It's because I got a down candle. So on my other platform, this is a green candle. So therefore I have a support rectangle there. So that is the top of the support rectangle using wicks to the left, but I haven't got it on here. Doctor Strange, we don't have any theatres near us that show films in English, so we'll have to wait until we can stream it. Oh, blimey. Ugh, I'm tempted to take this 0.5% off. Or shall I leave it? Obviously, the danger here is that we've just pushed up and put in session high, and now we're going to pull back to put a new low in. So this is just a 61.8 retracement on a down move. I don't think it is today though. This is not trending, is it? Oh, hello. Someone sold something. No, I'm just going to hold it. I'm just going to hold this up to these highs. So this will be probably 1.2%, maybe 1%, something like that. So I'm down 1.5% on the morning, 3 trades. So that'll get me back to negative 0.5. And then I will look for bearish engulfing or just, wicks. Look for some kind of candlestick pattern up at the highs to indicate a short, and then I'll probably short it back down somewhere into these lows. That's really all you can do today. No, but I can highly recommend Operation Mincemeat if you can still catch it. Operation Mincemeat? I've never heard of that. I'll look that one up. Operation Mincemeat. That one completely missed my radar, that one. I check in on the IMDb app regularly. Obviously, so I can see what's coming out. I do vaguely remember seeing that fly past, but wow. Okay, so we got well, it's not even a propulsion gap. There's no accumulation, so it's just bleh. Load of rubbish. So yeah, just going to hold this. I'm just worried about this area here. We could possibly reject out of this and go into a very tight range. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. A little bit of selling coming, buying coming in. So see if we can get another rally through this zone. If we can get a rally through these highs, be pretty safe taking that there. Other than that, not a lot else we can do today. I'm just watching the FX pairs. We've got a weak US dollar at the moment, but again, it's fairly range bound. If you look at the Euro US, it's just a choppy mess at the moment. So we're just literally accumulating. US dollar Swiss just come off the highs. So there's a potential good short opportunity. So there's that high sweep. We've tapped straight into yesterday's high. Just taken the Asian liquidity out. So sell stop under the low. In fact, I'm going to take that on the funded account. Whoops. So I'm just sticking a sell stop under there. And one under the reversal alert. If we push out and make a new high, that is going to become your reversal alert. So that will be basically if we make a new high and take out yesterday's high, there's going to be liquidity up there as well, then the reverse alert's going to jump up to here. So therefore my initial entry is going to be there, second entry under there. Again, not looking to target anything more than the lows on the US dollar Swiss. US dollar yen accumulating down at the lows. Again, I'm just concentrating on the majors at the minute. Literally just accumulating at the Asian lows. Don't seem to want to break that level at the moment. There we go, just broken that low. We've got tweezer tops on US dollar Swiss as well. Not on this chart. Just goes to show you how different charting platforms are. The tweezer tops on my funded account going in there, exact double top. That wasn't, that was down here. Shows you how different brokers are. Struggling here, aren't we? Okay, so US dollar Swiss has just taken out yesterday's high. So support rectangle is going to go there. So that'll be your reversal alert, assuming they are going to do the liquidity run on the highs. Bit of selling starting to come in. Closing it. It's not, we're rejecting exactly the same spot. So I'm out 0.8. Closing those out. So if you're inclined to think that we are going to go somewhere today, this is your first leg pullback, second leg pullback on short. It's just not moving fast enough for me today, so not going to bother. So US dollar Swiss, there we go, support rectangles jumped in there. So I'm going to just take a short on the US dollar Swiss, assuming that all we're doing here is liquidity run of yesterday's high. I can't see anybody really would have jumped in short on that. I suppose they would have if they'd looked at that being a liquidity run. They'd have jumped in short there. Everybody that saw an M pattern reversal towards the end of New York would have jumped in with their liquidity there. They've just been stopped out. So potentially we could see a drop starting from there. Oh, slow as you like, isn't it? I don't think we're honestly going to get a lot ahead of FOMC, so scrape what you can together today, but don't get greedy. Might even be an M1 day. Yeah, look at this level on M1 and look for price action at M1. Pretty obvious that low there, wasn't it? Wick, 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 wick. Very wicky. Retest wick. Yeah. Meh. It's all meh. Right, that's all I've got for today. So nothing's moving, so it's not worth sitting here watching stuff not move. You can sit here and watch stuff not move at home on your own. I'll be back tomorrow morning. So just obviously for the day, got horrible yellow news on there. Be aware of non-farm at 1:15. I'll put a little note in the Telegram group probably ahead of that. I may try and trade this. I might see what happens. I'm hoping that they will drop the US dollar on that. If I do see signs of the US dollar starting to drop, I will try and get in on a pullback short, probably US dollar Swiss, something like that. But apart from that, I don't really think there's a lot going to happen out of this. So if we do, we may well get a bit of a drop. We may well just get a kind of whipsaw on it, because they're not going to do a massive amount before FOMC, obviously. So there's the biggie this evening at 7. Obviously, bear in mind this could do absolutely nothing. We have seen FOMC in the past do absolutely nothing. Don't forget this is all factored into the market. This has been forecast for many, many, many weeks. The market has already factored in the fact that they're going to release this at 1. If this comes out anything but 1, get ready for fireworks, basically. All right, guys, so that's it. I will see you tomorrow morning. I'll do a full analysis of all the FX pairs again tomorrow. We'll go through everything in detail, have a look at what's happened with FOMC, have a look at where we think things are going to be going next from FOMC, and try and get some positions on, basically, and see where we go. Okay, have a good one. If you need anything, come in the Telegram group. I will be in there all day, as usual. If you see anything interesting, I'll post it. Unlikely today, but I'll be in there anyway, so if you need me, I shall be there. Have a good day, enjoy FOMC, and I will see you hopefully in the morning.